with BI experience. He's a Microsoft certified trainer MCT, Microsoft most valuable professional MVP on data platform. He has trained over 25,000 people on technical and soft skill in Power BI, MSQL, Microsoft Office tools, and many more. He is the pioneer of Yes Excel community. So please join me to welcome Mr. Olajide Idowu. Good afternoon, Mr. Idowu. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Thank you so much, ma. I can hear you, ma. Good afternoon, good
You're
morning,
welcome.
good
We
evening,
are glad
everyone.
to have you.
Thank you
So
so
you
much.
you have the
Same here.
floor, sir.
Once again, thank you, ma. Thank you, SARS and MAS on this call. Thank you for the opportunity to be with us today. So I will be sharing my screen just about now. So I will need a confirmation if we can see my screen, please. Please kindly confirm
Yes,
if.
we can.
Thank you.
Yes, I
Thank you
can.
so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. All right, so I'm going to
Yes,
put
we
this
can
on
see your
projection. There are no stupid questions. Okay, let me come and look at it on Teams first. Let me start by saying that some of my colleagues, they have touched on different things, meaning that they've touched on a lot of things. So what we want to look at today is to look at the web service environment and see what we can do from there. There are a lot of things that can be done, but of course, the community has done so very well that we have a lot of courses to cover. So as we proceed in Fabric's environment, there are numerous things that will still be exposed to us. But today, it is to just, whatever is on the web service, we can't finish it in 2 hours. So we just want to focus on some things. I mean, we just take it from there. So thank you for being here once again. So I'm going to just stop this video. I want everything to run smoothly, but if there's any need for me to on it again, I will. And please, there is no stupid question. If you have a question, you can show with a raise of hand or you can drop it in the chat box. And of course, my other colleagues will take a look at it and will respond to it. Thank you once again. So I'm sharing my screen and I'll minimize Teams. Then I'll put this on presentation mode. Okay. So what we'll be looking at, if at any point in time, please, you can't hear me. If you can't hear me, just let me know on time. If my voice and the screen, they are not in sync, you can also let me know so that I can switch to another service provider. So we are looking at Microsoft Power BI service, and some of the things or the key focus would be today would be understanding what we call workspace. All right. And I put some other things under the workspace, the roles in terms of capacity or access, let's put it like in terms of access granted to people in that workspace. We are also going to look at reports within the workspace. We are really not going to create reports, but we are not going to create a very big report. We'll do something. We have to just create maybe a small report. So we'll see report. We'll also see dashboard. We could also look at workspace app. That one alone is a lot, but we would just ensure we touch on the key things. Then we'll look at paginated report. All of this will be done in the work service, and I mean it will be done in the Power BI service environment of Microsoft Fabrics. We would also look at data gateway and schedule refresh or manual refresh. We talk about this. Intermittently, I'll be asking, are we following? Can we hear me? Can I proceed? Just don't mind it, just to ensure that everything is good. Can I proceed, please?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Please.
All right. So I move to this. I'm not someone that will read through the slide, but I put it here because this is recorded. So if people are going to watch the recording again, so they can see something. So workspace is a shared environment. What do I mean by shared environment? Most of the things, I remember Mr. Rashid, I'm not sure there is anyone that has done anything in Microsoft Fabric's environment that has not done it through either my workspace or workspace. So this is me assuming zero knowledge for everyone in case we have from zero up on this platform at this time, so that it is not strange to such a person. So workspace, what does it really mean? Though we have two types of workspaces, but that will not be the focus today. The major one will be the workspace, which is the one that people can collaborate from. So we have what we call workspaces, and is a collaborative environment. And I put some things there. What do you really do, or what are the things that we do, or what is workspace meant for? Report will be in the workspace. Semantic model, which is formerly known as dataset, will also be in the workspace. Dashboard, there are a lot of things that could be in the workspace. So it serves as an environment, a hub, right, for sharing content and for collaboration purposes. Because when we create a workspace, some people needed to be added to the workspace. So when they are part of the environment, we can chat on the go. We can reply ourselves, send messages, and we reply. So workspace is an environment that has a shared capability. My point is, it's an environment where everyone can collaborate. So I'll just move away from this because when we go through it, we can always read it. One of the reasons why we should even put our report in the workspace is because we also will be sharing the report to some other people that are not within the workspace. So that will make us want to create what we call workspace app, so that we can be able to share via the app to other people that are not part of the workspace. If what I'm saying doesn't make sense to some people that are new, do not worry. By the time we go into the demo, I believe it's going to make some sense. Now, we'll also be looking at what we call paginated reports in the Power BI service. People tend to know that if you're going to create, or maybe you're on the call and you're like, what is paginated report? Of course, I'll put some things here so that you can read through. But some of us are familiar with what we call Power BI Report Builder. So if you're going to create paginated report, we would expect that we download Power BI Report Builder, which is a separate, a standalone application, just like we would download Power BI Desktop. But we can actually create a paginated report also in the web service. Though there are some things that are not there yet, unlike Power BI Report Builder, where you have a lot of things like parameter and all of that within that environment. In Power BI service, there are still some things, I'm sure it's still work in progress, but my point is we want to see how we can do that in the Microsoft environment. That's a Power BI Fabric environment. So that's the second thing we'll be looking at. So another thing that we would also look at will be, so when we create all these reports within the workspace, this report needs to be updated. It depends on the category of data sources. What do I mean by category of data sources? We have what we call on-premise. On-premise simply would mean that the data that is not in the cloud, the data that is not online, the data that you can access to that is like within your local environment or is seated on your laptop. We also have what we call data in the cloud. So if you take a look at this, you'll see cloud somewhere and you're going to see on-premise. My point is, your report needs to be updated without you having to touch it manually. So how do you then ensure that this report is up to date? So there's what we call, we want to schedule refresh, of course, we are going to look at that. But if your data is on-premise, you will need to leverage on what we call Power BI Data Gateway. And if you're on this call and you're like, what is Data Gateway? Let me just use phone. I'm talking about mobile phone as an example. Let's say right now your phone is on 30% and you need the battery to increase, the bar of the battery to increase. So you will need at least two things. One, there is need for electricity or power supply, either via a socket, and you also need a cable so that the cable is plugged to the socket that supplies electricity so that the cable can then pass the current into the phone so that the battery can charge. So if there is no electricity or power supply on the wall socket or whatever source you're using, there is no how the cable can pass current into the phone or power into the phone and increase the bar. But let's say that there is there is electricity or power, and the cable is blocked. So the cable is not going to send in power into the phone, and this phone will start increasing from 30 to 31 to 32. So Power BI data gateway can be likened to that cable, that's your charger, that cord. So it goes to the data source. So the data source in this context will refer to that electricity or wall socket. So as long as there is electricity in the, or there is power in that wall socket, it's going to then the cable will be able to drive or be able to pull power into the phone, and the phone increase in bar as regards to battery. So data gateway is like that cable that goes to check the data source. If there is new thing, there is pick it up, then send it. Of course, that is going to be based on what we call schedule refresh. We'll look at that also. So schedule refresh would mean that when should I be checking the data source? When should I check? So is it every 1 hour or whatever time you set, then Power BI Data Gateway will wake up and it's going to just update your report. Let me take a step back. While I'm going through this slide is when we go back, I might not come back to the slide, but if there is need, I could come back to the slide. So we have majorly we have two types of data gateway. For some of us, you can read through the screen, but I'm not going to do that. So we have what we call standard mode, and we also have what we call personal. So personal is like personal to you. So if you download that, then you are the only one that can use that one. And it can only be used for Power BI report alone. All right. Meaning that data gateway is not only used for Power BI application, it is used for some other applications report like Azure and some other report. So my point is, if you download standard, you'll be able to use it and other colleagues will be able to use it. So you can give access to them and they'll be able to access it and use it. So the best practice is that data gateway is not downloaded on a personal laptop, personal PC, meaning that data gateway must be available and accessible every time, 24/7. Because if you schedule a refresh to happen by 8 a.m., let's say 8 a.m., either whatever time zone, and your laptop is shut down, is sleeping at that time, then data gateway is incapacitated because the environment that gives data gateway accommodation is already locked, is sleeping. So data gateway cannot wake up because it's not a spirit. My point, don't mind me, I'm laughing too. My point is that data gateway should not be installed or configured on a personal laptop. Rather, it should be configured on a dedicated server. And if you're like, what's a dedicated server? Let's just say maybe a desktop or a system that is always plugged, that is on, the screen is visible, is on, and there is internet. My point is data gateway must be available and accessible. Though some people can do virtual network gateway, which allow multiple users to connect to. That is not on the screen, but I'm just trying to mention some things. But because of time, I won't go into details. It's just to really talk on some of these things so that we can it can make sense to us in terms of what we need to do. All right, so I will move away from this. If there's anything, always let me know. If there's any question, please do not hesitate to also let me know on time. But let me confirm, can we still hear me clearly? Can I proceed, please, just to be sure?
Yes.
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is also recorded. This is just to reiterate that personal data gateway will do only one thing, which is Power BI alone. But if you download standard will be able to do all of these cloud services that you are seeing at the top. My point is, you can always go through this later. Okay, so schedule refresh. It is one thing to say you have configured data gateway. It is another thing to now tell data gateway to be waking up at a particular time. I'm using a layman, just forgive me about waking up. Is to say data gateway said yes, by 7 a.m., please wake up, go and check the data source. If there is new thing, pick it up and send it so that the report in the cloud is updated. By 10 a.m., go and do the same. But my point is you need to schedule that refresh that you want to happen. So that is what this is all about. There is what we call on demand, which is manual refresh. It's possible. I've seen people ask that, okay, what if management wants, or my line manager or whoever the consumer of the report is asking that, okay, we know that every 3 hours we are supposed to see the update. What if we are holding a meeting now and we need to make a decision? Then what do we do? Then there is on demand. So on demand is, it is requested. So you have to go touch your laptop and click on it. Then it will refresh even outside of your scheduled time. That is the meaning of on demand. All right. And of course, it's not going to affect whatever schedule you have already programmed. So I think, okay. So if there is need to come back here, we will come back to this. So if there are questions, please be free. I'm already here on the service, and let me be sure that, okay, I'm sure it's fine. So this is Power BI service, Microsoft Power BI environment, of course. So I'm in Microsoft Power BI environment. So this is Power BI as a service. And in case there's someone that says, what is Power BI as a service? I'm just hearing that for the first time. Or Power BI or web service. Power BI as ecosystem. Part of the ecosystem, there is Power BI desktop, which is this one. We are not doing anything on the desktop. There's Power BI mobile, which when a report is published, right, you'll be able to see it on your mobile phone. So this is the main environment. Whatever you do on Power BI desktop has to go to the cloud, has to come to Power BI web service. If you don't do that, then that means that, in short, it's not even possible. Do you want to work backward into the future? No, because what that will mean is that, will you be carrying your laptop from one office to another? So if I'm reporting to Mr. Larry Waju and he's in Canada and I'm in Mexico, so am I going to take a flight? Am I not causing more trouble for the company? My point is, okay, someone will say, attach it in the email. So you don't want to do that. So if I attach it at an email attachment and I send it to him, what if he doesn't have, so he's not going to download Power BI desktop. So let's say I have to send this to 200 people. My point is, why go through the stress? Why not publish the thing on Power BI service and add everyone in the workspace and they can see that it goes? So the point is that for people that are new to this, Power BI as a service is software as a service, which is the main thing. All right. So we're in the environment. By default, I'm on Home tab. If I click on create, then maybe I want to create, which I'm not going to do that. One of my colleagues, I think Mr. Rashid or some other people have also touched on this. So if I browse, it's going to show me some of the report I've published or some other things, but I'm not browsing. If I click on One Lake, it's just One Lake is just like one place where, like a central place where you can have a lot of things, right? You can see hub. Now, but I'm not like I'm going this way. Don't worry about this. This is like data mart, but we're not talking about data mart. So I will click on, so we have my workspace and we have workspaces. So I will click on workspaces. So when I click on workspaces, you want to, I remember Mr. Rashid created a workspace. I think Madam Gloria also did the same that day. So there is nothing they want to do. It's either they are doing it in my workspace though, or they want to do it in workspaces. But today, whatever we want to do is going to happen in workspaces, not in my workspace. So I already created just a couple of minutes ago a workspace. But I'll come back to this. But let me click in case there's someone that is very new to this. So, but in case you didn't see that, let me cancel this. I want to create a workspace. Remember, through the slide, workspace is a collaborative environment. So I want to create a collaborative environment, preparing the ground for the report and the people. So I'll click on workspaces and I'll see new workspace. So I'll click on new workspace. Then something opens to my right, saying give it a name. All right. Let me just say we. I'm not going to rate it, but I need to show this. So when I say we, it's just to put something. This is optional though. They just created it, but we're not talking about that. You can put logo for the company or maybe for the department or for the brand you're doing something to, but we're not doing that. So I'm going to click on advanced. And when I click on advanced, and you would see a lot of licenses. So, but what we are dealing with has to do with Microsoft Fabric. So purposely for this class, you can see trial. So my point is to select, but what we want to, this workspace that I'm creating, I want it to be a Microsoft Fabric workspace environment. So if I choose this, I can then say apply. So when I apply, okay, you know what, let me just apply. So when I apply, then this workspace is created. And there is nothing here yet. So the workspace is created. And this is just to show you that this is a Microsoft Fabric workspace environment. All right. So let me come back here. This we, really, I don't need it. So let me type we and say we, please. Do you want, I could go to workspace settings, but let's just still leave it. So I'll go to this one because I already loaded some things as of today. Now, in this environment, okay, can I proceed? I hope I'm not too fast. I hope we are following just to be sure. I hope I'm not leaving anyone behind. Please, let me just get response, maybe one, then I can proceed just to be sure my internet is fine.
Maybe you can slow down a bit.
Okay, tell me. What did I do that? You please just tell me, then I can go back.
Okay. You know, the way we're taking those steps, if one is not paying very close attention,
Okay,
one might miss some of those things.
Okay, let me go back. I'm so sorry. Okay, so tell me. I only talked briefly about all of those buttons, but then I came here. If you follow through the slide has explained everything though. So in the environment I have signed in. So when I signed in, this environment will show, right? And when this environment shows, are you fine from here? Just to be sure. Can I continue from here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then you see yourself in this environment. So when you see yourself in this environment, what we want to do, if you remember the slide, I said the first thing on that slide was to talk about workspaces, because whatever you want to do, it has to, like, we want to do something in the workspace. And take a look. In that workspace, you can put reports, semantic model, dashboards, scorecard, a lot of things. So whatever I'm trying to do, as regard what we want to do today, has to be done in that workspaces. So I click on workspaces. I already have some workspaces, maybe for some work or something. So I'm now saying that that environment that the work has to be done, we need to create it. Then I click on new. So when I click on new workspace, it's telling me that you want to do a new thing. I said yes. Though it's not saying it like that, but that is what this is really saying. Give it a name. Then you type name. Whatever name that is available is going to tell you. You can put description. It's not just required because it has no, like this one, required icon. Then when you choose, okay, it's fine. Let me do, I said we, right? Let this one be wa. So I can put description. This workspace is for something, something, something. And then I scroll down. I want this workspace to be a Microsoft Fabric workspace. Then I expand advanced, and by default it will be there. But I can choose. There are different licenses, but the one that we want to focus on has to do with Microsoft Fabrics. So this is the trial version of it. So then I will then say apply. When I say apply, then that environment open, just a moment, let me go to we. Let me type that we. So that environment then open this one. And there is nothing yet. You can see there is nothing. Add something new or upload something to see them here. Okay, I'm not going to use this, but I could actually upload a report from Power BI desktop just to show you. Okay, so that's fine. Let's say that I'm in the environment and I could create a report, but this is blank. There is nothing here. So if I'm going to create a report, I can't create, there must be raw material meaning there is need for semantic model. So if I'm going to click on this, of course, it's not going to say, okay, do you want to start from the beginning and all of that? Where is the data set? Or do I want to do data flow so that I can do cleaning like ETL in Power BI, Power Query Editor? But let's say maybe you have Power BI desktop report already created. Instead of saying publish, instead of going to Power BI desktop and say publish to the cloud, you can actually drop this upload down and say, okay, you want to upload, right? Can you see PBIX, which is the extension of Power BI report? Then I could say browse. So when I browse now, anything that has to do with Power BI report, I could look for it and then upload. Let me see, but my point, okay, let me just upload this. So then this will be uploaded into this environment. This is another way of saying publishing instead of publishing from Power BI desktop. So this is the, which basically means you are published. So another way of publishing is that you can upload. All right. So, but by uploading, Power BI did 3 things for me. Normally, if you publish, right? If you publish from Power BI desktop to this, Power BI will not do, it will just, 2 things will follow you. Okay, I hope I'm not too fast this time, just to be sure.
No, yeah, doing well.
Okay, thank you. So you see that 3 things on my, like me, I just click and this thing shows up. So the raw material, which is the semantic model or data set, all right, and the report, then it has created dashboard that I didn't even send it. So I can take a look at it and adjust it if maybe it's just blank. I'm sure it's going to just be a blank one. Can you see? So then I'll start creating it from the beginning. So let me, really, I don't need that. So let me go back to workspaces and let me stay on hey. So whatever you are saying now, just like from where we're coming from, is still like the same thing. Okay. The first thing is from the slide, they said we'll create a workspace. We have created a workspace. The second thing I did was to say, okay, you upload, which you saw just now. I uploaded a report and something shows in that environment called we. Now, if I stay here, for instance, I could start creating reports. I could do paginated report, could do scorecard, could do dashboard, I could publish data like semantic model into this place, just like I did this, like I could bring it here. But if I create a workspace, any question, please? I'm sharing my entire screen, so I'm not looking at people on Teams. Can I proceed, please?
Yes, sir, you can proceed.
Thank you, because someone's mic is on. So now, if I click on this ellipsis, please, if your mic is on, you can help us mute, because it's part of the recording. Madam Anne, you can help us mute that person, please. So if I click on this ellipsis, I'm not creating app yet, but you'll see manage access, and you can see workspace settings. Okay, I'm looking at the time. So let's say I want to bring people. Right now, I'm still the only one in this workspace. What we are doing is, after you do all of the reports and it's in the environment, this report is not for only you. People need to have access either to the dashboard, to the report, so who are the people? Instead of carrying your laptop, traveling from Mexico to Spain to go and report to my boss. Then I can create a workspace and then I can add people. By clicking manage access, something will open to the right. By default, because I open this workspace, I am the only one there. And this is not for me. If this report is for me, maybe I want to do, there's what we call development, or there's what we call when we create a pipeline to say there is production, there is test and all of that. My point is, this is not for me. It is for some people. Then I can then add them. Before I proceed, if you come back to this, you would see we talk about roles, right? So in the workspace, when you add people, you also want to assign roles to them. So let me go back. I'm admin by default because I'm the one that created the workspace. Then I could say add people or groups. So when I click on this, it's going to tell me different roles. In the workspace environment, we have 4 types of roles. We have admin. That means we could have people assigned admin roles. We could have people assigned members. They are different roles: admin, member, contributor, and there's a viewer, all right, row. So these are the 4 rows. Now, what are these rows about? Admin is the one that creates the workspace. Is the one that about to add people now. So as admin, I want to add people into the workspace. If I add people into the workspace, I'm not using the word member because in this environment, member is a row. It's a type of row. That's why I'm not using member, I'm using people. So if I'm adding people, then whatever role I give them will determine what they can do. It's like access, right? Will determine what they can see and what they can, or what they have ability to do or capacity to do in that environment. So admin can, of course, it create the workspace. It can add people to the workspace, or is the one that even add people to the workspace. It can publish reports or dashboard or workbook or anything to the workspace environment. It can remove people. If someone is no longer supposed to be seeing the report, or is no longer in this company, or he has been moved to another project department or something, the person should be removed. So admin has the power to remove the person from the workspace so that the person no longer see that. Admin can delete a report. Admin can delete someone else's report. I'm just trying to say, I could go online and show you roles. I mean, you have there's Microsoft Learn where you can see all of those roles and what all of these roles can do. So I will just, the intention is not to add people, it's just to talk about it. But let me see what I can add. Let me see what I can add to this. Okay, good. So if I had Hayodidi, let me see if I distribute. Okay, let's see. Just a moment. Okay, good. So if I add people, right, then I could add them one by one, or I could add them together. Then I could also add group. If I say group, there's what we call, you can see all company, or there's what we call Microsoft Entra, or it used to be Active Directory, but I don't want to go there, where you can have some people in one group. So if we mention the name of the group instead of one email, all of those people in that group would also be part of this workspace. So, so let's say these are the people I want to add. Then I'm going to click on add. I've added them as viewer. So if I use this to step out, I can say, oh no, this one should not be a viewer. Then I can give another, let's say it doesn't have to follow admin, like I could say it's a contributor. And I can say this is a viewer or a member. So if I do this, I must refresh because as at the time I added them, they were viewers. So if I do not refresh this, they will still be seeing things based on the assigned or the initial assigned roles. So I need to say, Power BI say yes, please. I've changed whatever it is. Help me also update. So that way. So, but if this guy is no longer with us, I can then say remove. So who is a member? A member is the one next in line. All right. He has power to also add people, but he cannot add someone above his rank. You know, we have 4 roles. We have four different roles. A member is the one next in line. You can see this guy has star, meaning that he's the superior guy. So a member is one next to him, and he can add people, but he cannot add someone above his rank, and he cannot remove somebody. He cannot remove someone, but he can add people. So if there are people that can add people in the workspace, admin and member. But if a member adds someone, he cannot add someone above his or her rank. And if he now adds someone, let's say as a contributor, and there is need to change the role, member does not have capacity or capability to reassign. He cannot change somebody's role. It's only admin that can change that role. So this is just to touch on this. It can be more detailed, but let's just leave it this way. So now that I've added people to the workspace, so we've talked about creating workspace, adding people to the workspace. We've updated like a report to the workspace. Now, when you do that, let's say, okay, let me do a creation of a report. Let me use this. So if I already have a semantic model, which is the data set, right? Or which used to be data set. So if I click on this ellipsis, it's now saying, what do you want to do? Do you want to explore? Do you want to analyze? Do you want to create? Do you want to auto-create? Do you want to do paginated? I am not. I want to create a report. So I don't want to do auto. I want to create a report. So if I click on create a report, though I could use auto. If I use auto, right, it would be able to help me create that report automatically, right? Let's say I don't, let me just show that. And let's go back to what's that workspace? This is the workspace. Then, if I click on this ellipsis and I say auto create a report, it's going to help me create a report automatically. Just a moment. You just do some things. It may not be what I want. So the reason why I'll be creating, so I really don't want this. So I'll rather create my report. But let's say it's done this. And if I click on edit, it's going to ask me that I'm going to lose some things in the data pane and I want to continue. So by clicking continue, then I will be able to see it and say, I don't want this, I can remove them. And if you take a look, you'll see it is deliberate. Whatever I'm doing now, it is very deliberate. I want to do measure. I've not done measure on this. I've not done some calculations. I've not done like anything, but I want to be able to add columns, do all of that. So it's not saying, okay, if you want to do anything that has to do with this, then ask your workspace admin to turn on these settings. User can edit data model in Power BI service. Okay, so of course, you tell the admin, but of course, I'm also the admin, meaning that I've not enabled the settings. Okay, I hope I'm not too fast, just to be sure. Can I proceed, please?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, please.
So if I go back to this, or let's say save it. Oh, I didn't give it a name, but it's fine. Let's just say LW something. Let's want to put, or let's say Olachide. I hope it's not existing, and it should be in that workspace. Okay, so let me go back to the workspace. So I can go to this ellipsis, then go to this settings. Then remember what we want to do. We want to ensure that people are able to do data model in this environment. If I come to, of course, I'm not talking about previous storage settings. Though if you go to storage settings, it's talking about the capacity, but that's not. You know what? About this will just tell you about premium license, Azure connections, but workspace identity, network. If I click on workspace identity, it's just going to talk about something, but let's say others. That is if I want to remove the workspace, but I'm not removing the workspace. If I go to general allows contributors. There are different roles, just like I mentioned, and it's only admin that can, but this is where I'm coming to do. It's only admin that can enable, it's only admin. Okay, admin is one of, that can enable a contributor to update an app. By the time we create an app, I understand what this means. So, but allow workspace to be able to edit in data model and all of that. So I'll say user can edit data, this, that. So if I say this one, then automatically it's as spin it, and that's we'll be able to do this that we want to do. So if I come here, and I say I want to edit this report, you now see that I can, it's clickable now. So when I click this, then though it's going to tell me that whatever changes, it will just say something that it will be permanent or something. Just tell you something like that. Though you mentioned it when you were looking at it then. Keep in mind, your change will be permanent and automatically saved. Then this way I can see the relationships. If I can break relation, I can see I can do the if it's not been done, right, I can do all of that. Then you can see I can do new measure and all of this. One of my colleagues has dealt with all of this, but these are some of the, so some people are not able to enable editing because they need to take permission. So these are some of the things I plan to point out to say, okay, how do I enable that? How will someone be able to do the calculation in the environment, adding new measure or creating new table and all of that? So you've seen that admin needs to enable that. There's no measure at all. So let me just create just a maybe a measure or a column. Let me just new measure. So let's say this would be, okay, let me cancel this at first. Okay, let me be done with this. Let's say this is total revenue. And is a function of, so sum of, I think I didn't look at the table before, so just pardon. Let me see, sales is the table. And then unit price, the way of unit price there, or price, some total price multiplied by quantity. Okay. One. That's forbidden because I didn't look at that table. So let me put KT1. Okay, so it's KT1. So then I can close this and press enter. So that measure is created. I will just do that, just this one. You just let you know how that can be done. And if you want to create column, of course, you can always reference the table and do that. And you can see create with Copilot. So just so you know, just like you can use Q&A to say what is our total, like you should create that Q&A visual. You can also leverage on Copilot for quick measure, and of course it's going to just help you to do all of that. So now I'm looking at the table. I can manage relationship. If I click on model, it will just show me, this is showing tables and this is showing model. It will just show me if there are calculations group, if there are measures. I mean, all of those measures is going to bring them together. You know that there is 4 relationship. I mean, it's just talking about all of those relationships. Then this will talk to row level security in case you do. There's what we call row level security, but this class is not for that. So if I expand this, it's going to tell me the relationship between all of those. It's just going to show you how they connect. So that's why you're seeing 4. All right. And there are no rows. There are 5 tables. But if I come back, it just let you know this is me touching this environment. So let's say this is done and we're fine. I can, okay, let me cancel this now. I've invoked this comment this. So if I go back to the this workspace, all right. So though I didn't do anything to the reports, today is not to create report, it's just to let you know what we can do within the environment. Any questions so far, please? Just to be sure I'm also not too fast. Please, any question?
Yes, someone is
Hello,
asking
sir.
if
Yes,
they
sir.
can have access to the data sets.
This data set, how will I put it to you? Okay, is it after the class? Is that fine?
Yeah, after the class, it will be fine, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Hello.
let me come and look at the things. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Well done, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
Sir.
everyone.
Yes,
I'm thinking in the line that I don't know if it would be more objective for us if you are using a real example, like using a classical real life example of this. Okay. Hello.
Go ahead, sir. I'm with you.
Hello.
I'm with you, sir. I can hear you.
That's just my observation.
Okay. You need to help me so that I can answer you correctly. When you say a real life example, a classical example. Maybe I didn't get it, but maybe I will need you to help me. But maybe before then, let me say what we are doing. Okay.
All right.
What we are doing is to talk about Power BI service. What we are doing is not to create reports. What we are doing is to talk about this environment, right? What you can do within the environment. The reason I'm not going maybe the way you want, I'm sure that all my colleagues have been doing this from day one. There is no how they will touch and not touch. When Mr. Rashid was doing, I think that's a model, he touched a lot of things. He did. When Gloria was doing, she also dealt with that. When my other colleague that came 2 weeks ago was doing visualization, he also did a lot of things. But my point is, okay, maybe you should go ahead, sir. Let me really know so that I can answer it correctly. I think that's right.
Yes, I get what you are saying now. Sadly, probably I didn't get to hear about this before now. This is the first time I'm attending.
Okay, I like that. It's fine, sir. So based on what we've done so far, because this class is not about me going through slide or going, it is to be able to impact us or inspire us or you get to trigger something. So based on what we've done so far, you know, we started Mr. Tosin Odumosi. Okay, Mr. Rashid, go ahead. Your hand is up. Maybe you want to say something to that.
Okay, so the last speaker, you can private chat me at the end of this class. You see, all the classes that we've had in the past, we have them on YouTube, which you can download and still keep up with us. But I would just appeal to you to just follow through with the speaker with this session because we don't have time. So if you have any challenge, you can private chat me. A lot of people reach out to me. They have problem, I solve it for them so that you can keep up with the class. Is that fine, sir?
Yes, very, very fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Sorry
Mr. Rashid. No, you are fine. There is no need to be, so you are fine. So you are free to ask questions and stop us anytime. So, don't mind it. It's not that I forgot where we are. Anyways, I'm sure we are here. So, now that that's done, right? In case you're like, what was done? I took this to say we want to enable data model so that you can do calculation. We've done, and that is the report. I name it Olabide. My point is, I'm not creating a fantastic report. The purpose of the class today is not about creation of report. It's to show us what we can do. The first thing we did was to create a workspace. We added people, assigned roles to them, uploaded data semantic model, and we used that to create something. And I talk about different roles and what they can do briefly. Now, I could go ahead and create what we call paginated reports. Before I proceed, let me come back to my slide. What we've done is understanding workspaces is a shared environment or collaborative environment. We talk about the roles. We've created a report, not a fantastic. We say auto create, and we did that. We've also done maybe calculation, which is not required, but I show that. So let's see how we create a dashboard within the environment. Then we can create a workspace. We can follow in the sequence. So I'll come back to this. So we have a report. If I open this report, just a moment. Good. So if I hover my cursor on any of those reports, I could share, I could do a lot, which I wouldn't want to go into it. I could export it, I could do all of this. But if I click on edit, again, right, I could edit this report. I could show insight. This, everything that I'm showing is still within the workspace environment. If I click on ellipses, I'll see subscribe to this report. I'll see lineage. I'll see pin to dashboard. All right. So there are two ways you can create a dashboard, but there is a proper way. I'm not saying this way too is not proper. There is what we call pin live and there is what we call, I think it is good I create another report, which I will do shortly. There's what we call pin live, and there's what we call pin visual. When we pin live, meaning that you are using a page, you know, let me not say it. Let me quickly create another report from, okay, this is Venture. I'll just do, so create the report. I'll just, not a beautiful one, please. I'll just say channel versus, I just say channel name, right? I think for any new person, they will have an idea. That's this. So, and say total revenue. So let's say I want to use, I could just, okay, let me use pipe. No, do not use pipe. Let me use this. Okay. And let's say this is it. And let's say I also want this total revenue to be a card. So Mr. Sosin, don't worry, like Mr. Rashid said, if you watch all those videos, you will understand. If this is the first time of saying this, you just follow. So let's say that's all I want to, okay, let me just put effect. Border and shadow is the list of things. So on this and on this, then I want the same to be applied on this. So let's say this is page 1. Let's say this is, just forgive me, I like to put a name instead of page. So let's say this is AB or A and B, enter. Maybe that is what, or properly, let's say this is talking to channel reports. And let's say this will talk to products category and product category against total revenue. So which I could use 3 map for. So let's say this is this, and I want the tally there to be on so that it's seen. I want border and shadow just to put something around it. Okay, so let's say this is all that I want to do. And let's say this is products reports. Okay. So I can save this as, let's just say that's the name of the report. Then it is saved. Good. Now, I could still go ahead and edit, but I'm not editing. But the point is, the same thing you saw on the auto-generated report would also see. But this time, we are not only seeing, we are also seeing more than one. In case this is not clear, this is the report that I created. This is the one Power BI did for me, right? And it's just a single page. Though I could go ahead and say edit and add more pages. But the point I want to clarify, if I stay here, for instance, and I go to this ellipsis and I click on this, I'll see pin to dashboard or pin to a dashboard. So when I click, this will show pin live. What this simply means is that I want to use a single page for my dashboard. I feel that is not clear for someone. So let me say it this way. We have what we call reports. We could have in a report just like this. And we have, just imagine that we have maybe 10 pages or 15 pages, maybe channel report, product report, state reports, zone report, and all of that. There is need for a dashboard. A dashboard is a single page that summarizes the entire pages. So if a dashboard is one page, just like the your car dashboard would have a KPIs of different things of the car, but just the key important things. So a dashboard is just a single page that has every bit of other reports in one place. So, but if I'm not going to say, okay, I want to use just a single page as my dashboard. So if I click on this, this is called pin live, meaning that you are using the entire page, but this is not what I intend to do. So let's say I want to create for real the normal dashboard. Then if I open my cursor on this, then meaning that, for instance, it's just a scenario, please. Let's say this is the most strategic thing on this page. Let's say we have more than this. So if I open my cursor, I'm going to say pin. So when I click on this pin, it's going to say, you want, can you see, it's no longer pin live. This is pin visual. When I over my cursor on it, so it's picking one thing from that page, which is like the most important thing. I mean, so let's say this is ABC dash or ABC. That's the name of the dashboard. So then I'll say pin. Then a dashboard is created. I really don't have to go to it now. I will go to it later. So let's say we have another page. On this page, maybe this is the most strategic thing. We have others. So I can then say, okay, you also pin visual to the existing dashboard. Though you could have several dashboards within a workspace, just like you have many reports too. But I want this to go to the same dashboard that I call ABC. Then I can say, if there are questions, please do not hesitate. I can say pin visual, then it has gone to that dashboard. I don't want to click this shortcut. I want you to see the dashboard. Then you'll see that a dashboard called ABC has now been created. All right, so if I open this, and you can see, if I open this ABC, then it will show, you know, we brought this from one page. We also took this from another page. So this is the dashboard created within the workspace, all right, which is a single page that summarizes the entire report. So if, for instance, you're the management and you're like, okay, 56 million, how did we arrive at this, or what really contribute to this and all of that? So I could click on this 3.0, or I could just click on this. So when I click, it's going to take me to the originating report. In case someone missed this, what I'm trying to do is to say that is a dashboard page is a single page that summarizes the entire report. But since it's a summary, report is detailed. Dashboard is not detailed. Report is detailed. That's a lot of things, but dashboard is just some key things, right? Just like this is key to the management. They want to see it. So if I click on this, then it will take me to where I pick it from, which is the originating report. So when I click, so okay, let's see the breakdown, then this gives me everything that is okay, then it makes sense. All right. In case this is not clear, just let me know. So the point is, we have created the workspace. So I'll be running in a way now, because workspace, like I said, it can even take more time. So now we've done that. We've done reports. So let's say I want to create a paginated report, which are also differentiated between, we have what we call Power BI Report Builder, which is like Power BI Desktop that you download on your machine. And we also have the one you can do online. So if, for instance, let's say I am on Jeff Sales and I click on this ellipsis, it's already saying, do you want to create a paginated report? I could just say, okay, let's go. So when I do this, then my data pane will open, showing me whatever it is. What we're about to do is a paginated report. And in case you are like, how did we get here? Let me come back to my slide and put this on projection mode. I'm not in a hurry to do any of this. It's just to let you know that paginated reports is a report that comes in pages. And if you take a look at this, the beauty of paginated report is that it can easily be exported to PDF, Excel, and other formats. But what are we talking about? Is something in print, and in printable form, like it will be rolled out in pages, not like Power BI desktop report. Okay, so I'll just escape from this and go back to. I hope I'm not too fast. Please, can I proceed just to be sure? And if I'm too fast, also let me know. Okay, I need responses just to also be sure that my internet is fine and that I'm still in the class. Oh,
You are not.
Yes, you are in the class, you are live.
okay, thank you. Okay, you know what? Let me come and look at us. I hope I'm carrying everyone along. I hope I'm not just doing this and like just to be sure. I'm sorry. If you are following, give a thumbs up. Okay, Madam, you want to say something?
Yes, somebody is saying that invariably the dashboard gives a summary of all detailed reports.
Correct.
Did you
Mr.
get that?
Luke, yes, I got it. Yes, of course, yes. The person already answered. I mean, it's just a clarification. Yes. Mr. Luke, my hand is up. Mr. Liu, Lukman.
Okay, I just wanted to give it thumbs up.
Oh, thank you, sir. You can lower your hand there. Thank you so much. So just to be sure, because feeling like, okay, so this is paginated report environment in the cloud. So you'll see that my table open to the right, of course, in the data pane, and there's filter pane and there's build, like build. It's come this way. So it's not saying that this is the canvas or where you want to. Though it's already telling you that whatever your volume of transactions, in case you're like, what is volume of transactions? Like number of rows, right? That this guy will only show 500 rows in this edit mode. All right, but do not worry, just know that it has everything of every bit of your rows in this. So let's say I want to see product name. I put search at the top, I put scroll down anyone. So product name. So remember, paginated report is a report that comes in pages. So, and oh, did I do any calculation for this? No, okay, I think there is sales. So let me use sales. Sales, or is it revenue? Let me scroll, check. Okay, there is profit. So let me use profit. Any question, please?
Yes, sir. There's a question that can dashboard be generated without pinning the selected visuals from reports?
Yes, we show two ways. There is what we call pin visual, and there is what we call pin live. So the first one was to say, okay, a single page. If you do, okay, I'll come back. I hope it's not going to say, okay, it's fine. Let me go back to the report. So let's say I've done a single page that has everything. If I use a single page, the thing is, okay, let's say I use the single page. In short, I'll do this now, pin live or pin to. So this pin live means that it is using this entire page. It has nothing to do with another page, just to answer this person. So I will say pin live. Let me say the name of this is should pin to ABC. Yes, it should pin to ABC. Which is, let me say new dashboard. I think it's fine. New dashboard. So let me say XYZ, XYZ. Then I'll say pin live. What this simply means, sir, is that, okay, let me come to the workspace so that you see. This XYZ is here. It's also a dashboard. But this one, ABC, is also a dashboard. But this is a single page. I will open it now. If I click this, can you see that it's not showing like an hand that can click? It's not going to take me anywhere because this page is the dashboard, is the report, is everything. So it's not going to take me anywhere when you use a page as a dashboard, right? Any question before I want to go back to this? But if I pick different visual from different pages, I mean, different report pages, then that to me is a proper dashboard to say, okay, because dashboard is supposed to be a single page that summarizes maybe 30 report pages, 20 report, 5 pages, and all of that. Let me know if I answer you correctly. If you are the one that dropped the question, you can say yes. But if I have not answered you, also let me know so that I will know what you really mean. So, Madam Anne, I hope I can proceed just to be sure.
Okay, Toriola, can you speak? I think he tried to write something, but we didn't get that. There's another question that is saying, please, can I get how you arrived at the paginated page, please?
Okay, it's fine. I will do that again. So I'm here, I'm seeing that workspace that we call A. So because I want to create a report, right? And it's a paginated report. Every report, either a Power BI report or paginated report, you need raw material. Like you need semantic model. It can't just show up, meaning that you need resources, right? So if there are many ways, don't think I could also say I want to do it from here, paginated report. It will still say which data source, like which semantic model. If I click this now, it's going to bring all the data, different data sources, and I'll say which one can you say choose. But instead of going this route, I was already in the environment that I want to pick it. Reason why I click on the ellipsis, don't worry, I'm going to cancel this just to let you know. Now, so I stay in front of the raw material, which is the semantic model. And I click on this ellipsis. I want to use this. This is not the only semantic model here. And from this list, you can see it, create paginated report. And I click, and when I click, then this open up. I hope I've answered this question. So, and then I just type to say, I want to see products. Though I've seen it, I can click here, product name. Then the names of the product will show. And I'm saying versus what? Let's say revenue, right? And let's say I also want to see profit. Remember, this is paginated report that will come like row by row. It's not a summary. It's not a summary. Dashboard is a summary. Power BI is like an interactive dashboard, but paginated report is row by row, line by line, something like that. So let's say this is profit that I also want to add. But for full experience, you need to download paginated report builder. But I'm just trying to say that you can use, that is also available here. It's just that it doesn't have all the features that the desktop version will have. So I have what I need for now. So I can adjust this to say, okay, move here, all right? I can still say move here in case I want to put more things though. But this is what I want for now. I can then expand build and say I want to format it. But if I drop this down, it will show, do I want to count? Do I want to? I'm not counting. I just want it listed. So I want it that way, don't summarize. So then I click on format. This is me slowing the pace down a bit. And in case you missed what I did, whatever you are seeing here, I tick these boxes. There are some boxes that I tick and it shows on this canvas page or paginated canvas page. And these are the things that, and if I don't want, I can always remove what I want. But if I expand this, there is nothing. It's just to say, do you want to filter? But I'm not filtering, all right? Then I click on format now so that I can format my table. Let me collapse this. I can format my table anyhow. Then what is available are the things I'm showing right now. There's nothing hidden here. My point, I'm in the environment. So I could choose anyone. You could always interact with this later, but let me choose this bold elder. So what this will do is that, sorry, somebody's mic is on, and so what this will do is it will do like, but don't worry, like I said, remember, it will just give you some, not all, but by the time we print the page, you'll see everything in details. This is just like give you just some of the rows. So, and this confirmed that from the Power BI report that we did, that we put something on the card, the revenue is the, but just know that this is ready based on what is obtainable or available in the Power BI service. So that's that. Then I can say, okay, I'm fine. Then if I want to do any other thing, I can add them. And if I don't want, but for now, let me collapse this and say, okay, I want to put, if you look up, you will see there's file tab, there is home tab, there is view, there is insert, there's table format, there is a dating. So if I click on file, I'm not saving it yet because I still want to design it. I'm not printing and I'm not downloading it. But this is me pointing to some of the things that are available. If I click on home, I can export, but I'm not, right now I'm not ready. I'm just trying to point it to you that you can export it in Excel. You can do this, all right? If I click on view, it's going to tell me web layout print layout? Do you want to diagonalize? Do you want to hide some things? I will show them shortly. If I click on table format, I'm just here where I am. Include the total row. Reason why you saw the total row when I scroll down. If I disable that, it wouldn't show. Okay, now I want to put the logo of the company and I also want to put the title of this report. So I could go to Insert tab. So when I go to Insert tab, I'll see images. So it's going to say, do you want to pick from a URL or you want to pick from password? I could use URL and it's just going to bring the image to me. But let me just pick from my laptop first. So save some time. So let's say I'm picking, let me just pick this. Then the image will show, which is the logo. I can then drag this up anywhere I want it, and I can still adjust it. All right. So let's say that's where I want it to be. I also need the title of this row. Can I proceed just to be sure? Just to be sure. So that someone will not say, or if you want me to repeat this, let me also know. I hope I'm not too fast. Can I proceed, please?
I think you are good.
Yes, proceed, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you. So then, text box. I'll click on it because I want to put like title. So if I click on text box, it will also drop a text box where I can write. This text box, I can move it away like this so that it doesn't pop out. Then I can adjust it. It doesn't have to be, you can do anything you want, but I'm adjusting it before I'm typing. You can type before you adjust. Let's say this is data or power. Just let me type something like this. Niger, okay. Let me say Niger data platform platform report, something like that. Okay. So I can do Control A. I can do any style. I can say the font should be maybe 20. Let me see what 20 labels. Okay. I can say it should be bold. I can change the anything with two. Okay, so let's say this is it. Let's say we are fine. Then you see this. Okay. Let me say this guy should. I mean, I'm sure we understand. So let me just put spaces so that this doesn't show this for me. And I can adjust it a bit. So, okay, I can say no, I don't like this. Then I can move this up. And I can remove it also. Then the table is down. It's deliberate, I'm not scrolling so that no one will say, how did I do that? I click around the table, then there is this edge that I can use to drag it. I'm just dragging it up. So, and I can still increase this if I want, push it up, like, and I can still see the table. I just click around the table, then this shows. If I want this one to move, if I also want this one to move, so those are the things. So now let's say I want to see this view such that I want to, it's just to show you it's just to say if I hide session divider, that line that I would disappear. If I hide this margin, this would also go. So it will just look like this. But if I want it, I can leave it. So let's say the report is ready. And the next thing will be, I want to print it or I want to make it available. But if I drop down editing, if I say let's view, it's saying that, would you like to save? Yes, I would like to save. And it's saying, what is the name? Normally, if I also click save, when I drop this down, it will also still bring me this page to say I should save it. So let's say this is Niger data. And I'll say save. So, okay. You can say share this data. So it is saved, and this is the report. Share with colleague and all that. So you just think save successfully. So if I roll this out, if I print this, I mean, it's just going to go. But remember that I'm just still on one page, but this will show, like if I click on this, it will show you the last is loading. I don't know the last, but it's going to show 89 pages. Like, so that's what you're saying. But if I click back, so I could then say export, save as PDF. So if I do this, I'm sure we already know that it will just drop as PDF. I could drop it as Excel, you still following as Excel, but let me click to open this. Okay, go to the folder. So this is it here, like it's 1 of 89. So you scroll down, then you have all of that. So the point is that that is what is still available. And it's not like because in this place, normally if you want to do paginated report, you'll be able to do parameter where you can put some things that, okay, I don't want to see for maybe all this, I only want to see for so product category. Then you should be able to filter. So, but this is still work in progress. The point for us is just to show you what you can do within the workspace. And if I go back to the, if you have questions, please don't hesitate. I'm still here. So everything I'm doing is still like dropping in this workspace. And remember, this workspace, I'm not the only one there. Whatever role that has been assigned would also determine what someone can do or not do. So now let's say that I want to create an app, an application. And in case you're like, what's that? We mentioned that you can do that in the workspace. Let me see this. So we created roles, we created workspace, we assigned roles, we created report dashboard. I'm sure we have done paginated report now. It's still within the workspace. Whatever we are doing, all of this will still happen in the workspace. It's not going outside of it. So we want to do workspace app now. So let me come back here. So if I click on this ellipsis, I would see create app. So it's deliberate that I slow down like this. Just in case someone will say, oh, what did I click? I click on this ellipsis and I see this, right? And I click on create app. So it's going to say, what name do you want the app to be? I could say, let this be Niger Data. Then, because it's required, 1, 2, 3, 4, I just want to put something. Then I can put logo, I can change the themes. If I want, I can do some other things in terms of show app, publisher, but really, I just want to go straight. So there are 3 things: is the setup first, then followed by what do you want them to see in terms of, there are a lot of things in the workspace, but what's this app that you want to create? Okay, in case I feel that I need to take a step back. Now we want to create an app. Let me liken it to Nigeria. Forgive me for people that are on the call. So in Nigeria, let's say we have banks. Okay, for instance, there's a bank called GTB. So GTB has some developers that they create mobile app. All right. So those or that mobile app, right now, I'm sure they are still working on some new features, but we have not seen it. We can only see the one they have released. But there are others they did not release, even as at the time they created the new features. My point is that not everything that has been created, or how will I put it to you? Not every feature that they have created have been released. You are only seeing the one management told them to release. Okay, in case that does not help you, but I think that has helped someone. My point is that, but I don't want to take a step back because I'm continuing with this. So let's say this is ready. Anyways, then I'll click on content. If I click on content, it's not going to say, okay, you want to add content. Once you add content, you can preview it. If I say add content, I can also click any one you click. So everything in this workspace, that is what you are seeing. But what you will not see is the raw material, which is the semantic model. You are seeing the dashboard, the report dashboard. So people that are in this workspace will see everything. But whatever they are going to see also depend on the roles that have been assigned, either admin or member or contributor or viewer. So, but we are now saying that we also want to share this report with some people, maybe outside of the workspace. Then, what is management saying those people should see? Because if they're supposed to see everything, you will have added them as part of the workspace. Please, are we following? Just to be sure. Just to be sure that I'm also still with us in my internet.
You are audible.
Thank you.
They said yes.
Good. So now it's not saying what do I want to add as part of, can you see insert report that will work with directly from the workspace, so that you can also have website link. That's why there is this link in case you want them to click and it will take them somewhere. But whatever I'm picking for now is from the workspace. So maybe manager only want them to see maybe this one. Can you see? This is paginated though. Everything has an icon. This is paginated. This is the report. This is dashboard. So if I'm sure this is clear. So let me just choose some and not all. So maybe they should see this one and they should just see this one. So that is the meaning of adding content. Maybe they should not see everything. All right. And I could create a session where some people will see this, some other people will see another thing. So let me just add this. All right. When I click on add, it's not saying that you have selected this. Please select item for preview if I want. If I don't want, of course, I'll just move to audience. Others are the people that should see this. But if I drop this down, you know that it's the name of the report. My point is so that someone will not say, we are only seeing Jide. You know, in that report called Jide, there are two report pages. There is that channel report and product report. That's the reason why. But this one is the paginated one. The reason why is just like that paginated, that video that I showed. So there is no drop down for it, except I want to rename, delete, or move it up. So the reason why this is this way, you can also see this. Okay. So, but if I drop this down, I could actually add a link or a new session. I could create a session to say, okay, in this session, this one should be inside. In another session, I could add another thing. So meaning that in this session, whoever I share this with, they should only see this one. They should not see this one. So we could also do that. But for now, let's go with this. Now, who are the people that should see this? Then I could say add audience. So we can customize. Audience are the people who can customize the audience, and you can say customize your audience and all that. So you can hide item from audience. Reason why I say I could do a session so that an audience will see this and not see that. Once then people can access it or see it in the list. So, but I'm not doing that because I've not. So I could create a list or a session to say some people should see this. So if I say, can you see this audience has access to this content? Click this. So if I hide this, let's say I've created this session. The people that I will let them see this will only see this. I'm sure we understand what I mean, but because of time. So I'm not adding new audience because I want them to see all of this. So if you look at this, it's like, okay, now that you've added that, do you want to type the email of those people that you want to grant access? If you choose the entire organization, that means everyone in the organization would be able to see this. But if there are specific people, and the reason why you are even doing this is because you want to share. And the best practice is that when you're going to share content from the workspace, I mean, you should share content from the workspace to the workspace app, right? Except for people that are already in the workspace. So if you are going to do that, then you can type their email to that specific people, right? Or group, if you have a like Entra group, like Active Directory, so you can always mention the group and they'll see. Now, just to mention, so Advanced is saying that anybody that you allow, like allow people to share data sets, meaning that the raw material, which is the semantic model, which is the data set, and allow people to share the data set in this app. No, you don't want them. Of course, why should they? You are not, because they are the end user. So they need not to tamper with the resource, the data source, the raw material. So allow people to be able to build content, meaning that if you allow this, they will be able to use the data set to create reports. Okay, so it depends on the content, but in reality, end users are people that will see the report. So there is no need to give them raw material. Why should they alter anything? They should only see the report of their performance of what they are doing. So the reason why I just wanted you to see this advanced session. All right. And so you know whatever, very important. Now, this is talking about workspace, that whatever you do, users and groups in the workspace can access this content. All right. They are affected by whatever settings I do in advance. So let's say this is it. Let's say let me just type D. I don't know which. I've been party. Now, let me put have. Okay, good. Party is here. So let's say I want, oh, good. All right. So let's say I want how to be able to, so if I add name, then I'm sure you understand. That means she's the only one that would be able to see this one. I'm sure this is clear, but let's say I'm not adding. Let's say maybe entire organization, right? Then I will say publish, and it's just going to say some things, and then I will have this. So let me copy. I can go to the app and I can copy. Of course, if I give you, you can't see it because I didn't say you can see it, except that you are in the company, in the domain, except I go and enable some settings. So let's say go to the app. Then remember, there are only two things that were enabled for the app. So out of many things, there's a report called GD that you can see through the app. And there's another paginated report that you can also see through the app. Of course, GD has 2 report pages, reason why you can see that one. So since this is already telling you, so whatever it is that we have done now is that, okay, I can go back. So this is how we got it, but let me, in case someone wants to ask a question, I'll just stay there. But let me come back to, okay. Let me come back to this and say, let's go to the workspace. So now, let me refresh this. We've done a lot. Good. So, so what we've done, we created the workspace, we added people to the workspace, we put semantic model in the workspace, we created report in the workspace. We also enabled data modeling so that you can do some calculations. We assign roles in the workspace, we did paginated report, and now we created an app. You can only create app once. The next one is you can always update the app. Once app is created once and is released, the next is that you are updating that app, except, within the workspace, you can only create one. This. Any question before I move to the last? You can see that I'm sure it's a lot, right? I'm sorry. I hope I'm not too fast. Can I proceed, please? Can I proceed, please? Okay, thank you. So the last thing, which I'll be very fast because I'm looking at the time as I'm with us. So the last thing is that, okay, now that we okay, let me open this. Now that this report, let's say the report is ready and this report needs to be updated. Are we saying that the total revenue for now has not changed and we're a bank and people are debiting, they are crediting themselves, they are visiting using the app. So this thing is supposed to be like, the report is supposed to be updating or changing as activities keep happening. So then what do we do to ensure that that's done? So that brings us to what we call data gateway. And like I said in the slide, it depends if your data is on premise. So I'll quickly come here and I'll see data gateway. So if I click this, it's going to open. I would have loved it to open in a new. I think it's open a new one. Okay, I think so. Yeah. So when you get there, like, how did I get there? How I got it was to click on this arrow that is dropping down, and I click on this and data gateway open. Trying to explain the same thing I said, that if you want to charge your phone is on 30% and you need wall socket to supply power so that cable can pass in. So my point right now is that keep your data and reports to, up to date. So there is standard, which I talk about in the slide, and there's personal. Personal, you are the only one that can use it, so I may not be able to build there. Again, the slide is recorded. So, but I'm not going to download because I already have installed, just so you see this reason why I click on that. So I'll come back to this. So I want this to be refreshing. What will I do? If I come back to the workspace, that report that I opened is dependent on a data source, meaning that it is not on its own. There is a raw material that was used to create it. So if I need to update, if report need to update, it is the data set, it is the semantic model that has to update, not the reports. In case maybe that is confusing, my point is that these reports need to change, but the report, the life of that report is the semantic model. The semantic model is the life, is the resource. So if I want the report to change, I will not go to the reports. If I click on this ellipsis, I won't see anything that will allow the report to really change. If I click on settings, for instance, it's just going to say, what do I want to do? I'm not doing anything as per that. But if I go to the raw material, which is, I think is this one, and I click on, I want to do something. If I click on settings, for instance, it's going to take me here, all right? Because they are the resources that's, or this one is used for something. So when I get here, I'm looking at the time now. In case you're like, how did I get here? I want this report, this report, that how will it be changing? We now said, for it to change, the raw material, where is it again? Just for the, because I click outside now. I hope I don't go back. Okay, so please, I'll just proceed. I'm sure you understand that. So I'll click on this ellipsis and I'll see settings, and it's going to take me to this environment. So if I expand this refresh history, it will be telling us when the schedule or the refresh starts, but let me come back to this. So now we need data gateway to help us connect to the data source, which is this one. This one, or this report, is dependent on this data set. So then I come to data gateway first. When I expand it, like I said, data gateway should not be downloaded on your personal laptop, please. But I have a gateway that is running on this laptop that I'm using now. That's why this is checked. But you see that there's another one that is not well configured. It's because it is not accessible. But this is accessible and available. Data gateway must only be accessible and available. So I will now say, okay, data gateway, you are fine, you are running. So I see you. Said, okay. Now say, I need you to point me to, there is something I couldn't see very well. So I need you to help me point me to the data source. You know, there is difference between data source, data set, and the report. The data source is where the data set is coming from, the original place. So this is what this guy is saying, that help me. So let me click on these credentials. You just want to confirm this is the path to where the data source is, right? And I'll just say sign in. I hope I've not moved it. If I've moved it, you'll see error. So in my head, okay, good, thank God I have not moved it. So it's not saying, okay, I'm fine. I have seen it. Now that I've seen it, Power BI Data Gateway is able to connect to it. It's able to connect to that wall socket. This is the cable. Cable is the data gateway, based on the scenario I use. And so this is the wall socket, which is the data source, where the source is. So now say, okay, now that this is well connected, when should live be? When should refresh be happening? When should I be updating? I will then come to refresh. If all of this, I've not done it well, this will not be clickable to honor. Okay, just to pause. I will follow. I hope I'm not too fast. I hope I'm able to communicate well to us, just to be sure. Can I proceed? I have 20 minutes more.
I think you can proceed. No question yet.
Go on, please.
Okay, thank you. So now I'll now come to refresh. Now say, okay, can I use the refresh saying that define the data schedule. When should I be importing? Meaning, when should I go to the data source and be bringing if there are new transactions, so that your now say, okay, I have found it. Now say how often. That's the frequency. How often should I be doing it? Is it daily? If it is daily, you choose daily. Of course, it depends on management. So if it is weekly, maybe there are days they don't want to see it. But remember, whatsoever you are doing this for, remember the time zone is very important. If I've seated in Nigeria and I'm doing something for some people outside of the zone, I must ensure that I put their time zone so that there is no issue. I remember we did something for some people in Qatar, and There was anyways, they were supposed to have a meeting with them and we were sleeping, not until my other colleague called me to say, these people have been waiting for the past 3 hours. Oh, I said, we scheduled the team because of, my point is, whatever I'm trying to say is that you have to be very careful. This has to be like in tune with the client. So, but let's say this is this for now. I'm not changing it back. We change it to central based on my time, but I'm not going to. Okay, I think I will apply this. So let me, for the sake of reality. So let me do this. Central West Africa. Please, if you see it, you can help me. Trying to scroll now. Okay, West Africa. So maybe not every day. Just let me disable. Today is Saturday, so let me I'll just enable for today, and in the next, let's say 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock Nigerian time, which is just today. So I could then say be happening every Saturday. That is what that means. And I say what time, depending on the time, but the next one should just happen like in the next. I'm looking at this time. So just happen in the next like this. So I could then add more time. I could add more time. I could add more time, but please, for the sake of time. Then I say, okay, in case there is failure, should I notify you? By default, you are the owner, so I will notify you. But in case there are other people that should also be notified when there is a failure, then you now type their email. But for now, let's say everything is fine. I'm just going to apply this. Now it's now going to do your update, and this has changed, and the change has been applied. So meaning that there is a schedule refresh, which is automatic. It's going to be happening automatically. It's already telling you that your next refresh would happen on this day by this day, right? So let's go and let's go back to the workspace. When you go back to the workspace now, you will then see that it's already telling you that next refresh, because we did it on this one, would happen this. Now, this is what I call refresh now. No, this is schedule refresh. I only click on the 3 dot to take you there. So refresh now, meaning that now, maybe management want to make a decision right now, and they cannot wait for the next refresh since it's going to happen and they're meeting our stakeholders meeting. So you could just click on this and you see it's just going to show that something is happening to it. So it's going to the data source to see if there are any transactions. If there are any transactions, it's just going to pick them and just know that refresh is happening. So while we wait for that, I'll stop here so that we can entertain questions or clarifications. So please, Madam Anne, you can take the floor.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. And please, we have opportunity to ask questions. You can drop your question either on the chat or you can raise your hand or mute and ask your question. Yes, Mr. Deyemi Israel, can you please unmute and ask your question?
Yes. Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, sir.
I really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Now, my question is this, sir. Okay, I have 2 questions. My first question is that, okay, how do we have access to it? Peradventure you had someone, and maybe that person doesn't know. So how would that person have access to maybe the model you're working on? I don't know, maybe you get the question.
No, sir, take that again. How will the person,
for example, if
go ahead, yes, sir.
Had the person, for example, all those contributors, the viewers, and then
admin member, yeah.
Yes. How would the person know, and how can the person have access to it?
That's my first. Okay.
Then my second question is this: peradventure we have the source from for our data as maybe an Excel format on a local, maybe as a local. Okay. Is it the first one, sir?
No. Go ahead, sir. I think there's a lag. Don't worry, just go ahead. I'm listening to the second one too. Oh, can someone confirm they can hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
So my second question is this: peradventure we have an Excel. For example, the one you showed us is like maybe you have where your data is moved from a database. But peradventure is from a local file, and maybe we want to refresh. Is it still possible for us to do it? Maybe an Excel format on our system, and we want to make it and set some schedule. possible?
Th-
Those
Thank,
are my two questions.
yes, thank you so much, sir. Madam Man, please just help me confirm that I'm in sync. I heard him, just to be sure it's not my internet that is lagging, so that I can answer him correctly. If it is my internet, I want to switch.
I can hear you, so
Okay,
you can respond.
Thank you. So the first one, sir, is that when the workspace was created, we added people. How will those people know that they have been added? One, every organization would have an email for their staff, all right, which is a corporate email. So if that person has access in terms of, you can see his mail, he can get notification when office send him something, then by the time he is added or she is added to a workspace, he would also get a notification in his email that something has been shared with him. So you will get, just like I send an email to you and you because your email has been added to something. So because your email is part of that, you would get a notification, meaning that these people have received email in their Outlook that something has been shared with them. That is the first question. So how will someone know? That's one. Second one is that for on-premise data source, which Excel is part of it, if you want to refresh, you would need data gateway for that. That was the that's what this is referring to. Connect to on-premise. On-premise simply means it's local. It's not in the cloud. It is seated on your laptop. So it is not, if it's a local cloud source, we do not really, we wouldn't need Power BI data gateway. We'll just schedule refresh because the data source is already online. But this one is an Excel seated on your laptop. So because it's seated on your laptop, for the new information that is coming inside to go to the cloud, you need data gateway. Let me know if I answered it correctly, Mr. Israel, just to be sure.
Yes,
Yes.
you
Okay.
did.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ibukun. I know your mic is on. Maybe you want to say something, right?
Yeah, Ibukun, can you go on with your question?
Any other
Sorry,
questions
I
for
don't have
me?
a question now, please.
Go ahead, sir. Okay, take a look at this. If you can still see my screen, that manual refresh, that refresh now is telling you that the refresh succeeded, because some people have issues that their reports will not refresh. They need to understand all of these steps that we have covered. If you don't configure Power BI data gateway correctly, if the data source has also been moved, there are reasons why you would have error where data will not refresh. One, if you download data gateway on your personal laptop and at the time that you say schedule refresh will happen, you have shut down, there will be a message in your email saying that data gateway could not refresh because of the report could not refresh because data gateway was not accessible or online. Another thing that could happen that could cause an error is, as at the time you were, so just pardon me, right? Let's say the data source was in Manchester when you were creating the report. The data source has now been relocated to Liverpool, right? When data gateway is going, it will go to the previous source. And if you get there and it's no longer seeing the data source, it will now flag an error here that refresh could not be completed or successful because data source error. So in that context, I'm just pointing out some of the reasons why refresh will not succeed, right? So it will be more than that, just to point that out. So any other questions for me, please?
Questions?
Okay, so I think if there are no questions, Madam Anne, over to you, please.
All right, thank you so very much, Mr. Chide, and thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for all your questions and thank you for the responses. Thank you so much. We appreciate everyone for joining. We don't take your time for granted, and we are sure that we are convinced that you are able to gain one or two things, you know, in added knowledge to what you have already. So we'll be dropping our messages information on the next track on our Niger Data Platform WhatsApp group. So please watch out for information based on that. Mr. Rashid, you can go on with your information. Thank you.
You are supposed to drop the feedback form for them. You forgot it?
Yeah, no, you drop the feedback form. I don't have it at my end.
It's already on. Okay, maybe you didn't read your chats. Okay, let me quickly.
Oh, okay. No, I couldn't read my chat. So please help us fill the feedback form. Mr. Rashid will help us drop it on the chat. It will also be dropped on our WhatsApp group. So please help us fill the feedback form so that we can serve you better. All right. So please watch out for.
It's already in the chat room now.
Okay, the feedback form is already in the chat room. It will also be dropped on our WhatsApp group. So we would like you to fill it so we'll go along with, we'll have the information and work with it. And please watch out for our next training series. This will be dropped also on our WhatsApp group. Thank you very much for your time.
Hold on before you go. So
Yeah.
we need to do photo.
Okay, selfie time.
So let's on our camera. Just want to see your beautiful faces.
See your beautiful faces.
We need the information because of our car. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bassi. We appreciate you. And thank you. We appreciate your presence. Our amazing speaker, Olajido. Thank you. Soriola Ayodeji, we appreciate you. We are still waiting for some people. Mr. Thompson, we thank you so much. Daniel, can you please on your video before we start? We are not seeing your face, so we are. Okay, I think it's better now. Okay, so Mr. Kende, Blessing, Tosin, can we see your beautiful faces, please? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining.
Victor Bassi.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think it's 5. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. Lukman, Blessing, Tosin, you have not on your.
We are waiting for you.
Okay, thank you everyone. I think that's fine. Let's have an amazing time. And thank you so much, our speaker. Next week is another time. Bye everyone.
Okay. Thank you everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, have a blessed weekend. Bye.
Professor. Hey, anybody like that ticket? You're